Hello and welcome back to Recruiting for Offense in Dynasty for College Football 26. We are going to talk about one of my go-to styles when I have a need to really turn an offense, I won't say vanilla, but more traditional with personnel. And I do this a lot for early style rebuilds because I feel like traditional offenses are a little easier to run, but also you get more chunk plays off play action. I love play action. So the pro style offense is essentially recruiting from Sundays for Saturday. The old style traditional offenses that you still see a ton of I form. You still see a ton of single back, a lot of under center. So if you like under center, the pro style is for you. There's still some gun, but it's mostly going to be single back, 2 tight end, maybe 3 wide receiver once in a while. You found the right place if you like that type of stuff. So we want to build essentially an NFL team to play on Saturdays for us, okay? The 3 playbooks, and yes, only 3 playbooks that are still in the game that are considered pro style are Boise State. Anyone that watched Ashton Genty last year knows why Boise State was I form and saw how valuable that was to him. Iowa, where we know a lot of offense goes to die at some point, but they have an incredible running game, and those offensive linemen are born and bred to road great for this type of offense. And I'm going to show you what you can look for those type of offensive linemen. And then what I think is the best pro-style book in the game, and that's Michigan State. Michigan State is the one we're going to be looking at today. You see the pro I form. It's the only playbook in the game with pro I, or the only team playbook in the game with pro I form. And it's got a lot of single back involved in it as well. You see a ton of single back, and I love the fact that you get a lot of 2 tight end. Bunch ace here. Wing X off is a nice little formation. Ace close. So many people. And even if you go to the gun ace is such an underrated formation in this game. It's so, I think people forget that a lot of college defenses are built to watch the spread now. If you can get 2 tight ends on the field, you can run on schedule, and this offense is a lot about being on schedule. You can run on schedule pretty regularly against even top teams. Because you're kind of bringing the run game to the forefront, you get to control the clock, and you can keep top teams close to you for upsets. But if you want to keep top teams close to you for offsets, you got to have the right personnel. So let's talk about quarterback first. And I'm going to give you a couple different options at every position. The first option at every position is my favorite, what I like to run. But I'm going to give you an option in case you play the game a little differently. Luckily, as traditional as this offense is, it is a little lenient on what you can use. My favorite so far for quarterback is pocket passer. Love pocket passers. They're the best throwers in the game. The abilities that pocket passers have, they have 4 abilities that revolve around accuracy of throws. That's resistance, which means you have better accuracy against pressure. Step up, which means you have better accuracy when you step up into the pocket. Dot, which means you have better accuracy when you have a clean pocket and throwing open receivers. And on time, which is, I explained before, but if you're throwing a route, like let's say a dig route, and you throw it before the cut, you get an accuracy boost. So you have 4 different ways to get accuracy boosts with this type of quarterback. The other thing that's really great about this is if you struggle with the meter at times, or you struggle, always hitting blue throws, this actually helps with that mechanic, and it helps lower the accuracy downgrades you get from having orange or red throws. And believe me, I need all the help I can get with that. The one ability that I want to show you, though, is... Turn that off for a second. By the way, all of the abilities available to you in the pause menu. Always a great way. I think a lot of people miss out on play action. And I think it's because they don't quite understand what play action is in this game. Play action's not effective everywhere. So sleight of hand is an incredibly strong ability if you know how to set up a run game, but also in very specific scenarios. I've also tested this without sleight of hand. Play action actually gets boosted in these scenarios without this ability. Okay, this ability makes it even better, but if you're not running a play action in these scenarios, you're actually hurting yourself at times. So, and this is a lot of on schedule stuff. What I talk about with on schedule is 4 yards, it's 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, you got to gain 4 yards to stay on schedule, and another 4 yards, which is 3rd and technically 3, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. So sleight of hand increases your ability to fake defenders with play action on 1st down, any yardage, or less than 3 to gain. Now I'm assuming this is 3 or less. So because I've seen this light up on 2nd and 3. So less than 3 to gain, which means you should be using play action on 1st down or 2nd and 3, 3rd and 3, 4th and 3. That's when this ability will light up. That's the best times to use play action. If you're struggling with play action, it's because you're using it in scenarios that the game does not intend you to use it in. Okay? Let's bring the notepad back up because I want to show you the other quarterback that I think would work for this offense, and that is if you're not great in the pocket, if you scramble or don't have a good pocket sense, I've got a quarterback for you. It's the backfield creator. You lose a couple of the accuracy abilities. You lose step up and resistance, but you gain off platform and mobile deadeye. Mobile deadeye gives you an accuracy boost if you're outside the pocket. And that is, yes, when you're throwing to any receiver outside the pocket on platinum. For bronze, it's 15 yards downfield. For silver, it's 20 yards. For gold, it's 30 yards. And then off platform is if you're throwing across your body or off your back foot. You don't have to be outside the pocket for this. You could be moving backwards in the pocket and throw off your back foot and get an accuracy boost if you have off platform. This is 15 yards downfield for bronze, 20 for silver, 30 for gold, and 40 for platinum. So very, very valuable if you can get some of the higher ability grades on that. And again, if you are not a great pocket presence type quarterback, go with the backfield creator. If you're good in the pocket, go with pocket passer. I think pocket passer is still the best overall. For running back, we're going to start with contact seeker. This offense is about, again, staying on schedule, using the run game to stay on schedule, the short to mid pass game, and contact seekers fall forward almost every single time. I love having like a 215 to 220 pound back or heavier, the Jerome Bettis types, those type of running backs. And falling forward, getting that extra 2 to 3 yards can keep you on schedule. If you get hit, if it's 1st and 10 and you get hit the line of scrimmage and you go down and you still get 2 to 3 yards out of that because you're falling forward, all of a sudden it's 2nd and 7 and 3rd and 2 is only 5 yards away instead of sitting there when you get hit with like a more elusive back and you go backwards. I think that falling forward every single yard you can gain with this, I think is important. Plus the contact seekers are the only ones that get battery ram. They get ball security, which is incredibly important unless you're a north-south blocker, which I don't think is a good runner. Ball security is you don't want to turn the ball over in this offense. You don't want to turn the ball over in any offense. Plus, they're the only running back. I'm gonna say this clearly. To get workhorse. Workhorse, by definition, protects from wear and tear effects when colliding with other players. On higher levels, it's just a different level of protection. And if you're playing on default sliders like I am, I'm playing default Heisman, if you're playing default wear and tear sliders, you know what wear and tear can do to your running backs. You have to cycle them out. Contact seeker gets protection from a lot of that. The other two that I would say are good running backs, but not the perfect ones, are elusive bruiser, which is a favorite of a lot of people, I believe, and east-west playmaker. I actually wouldn't mind you having an east-west playmaker on your team as a 3rd down back. East-west playmakers tend to be very good at catching the ball and moving. If you also tend to like to run outside more than inside, if you're an outside zone or a toss guy, like East-West playmakers are very, very good at that. East-West playmakers have shifty, sidestep, 360, and still bring armbar into that. They also get recoup, which doesn't protect you from wear and tear. It protects you from fatigue and stamina, which is another way of getting sat out, but doesn't hit as much as wear and tear. An elusive bruiser, obviously we talked about this before. They have shifty, but they also have head first and downhill, which are, straightforward, trucking and max speed to break tackles. They also get sidestep and armbar. They get no protection from wear and tear though. Again, the only halfback on this list that gets any protection from wear and tear is the contact seeker. That's why I think it's important to have your lead back have that. Fullbacks, some people will like the H-back stuff or like the utility. I'm a blocking guy. If I send a fullback at somebody, I want that person neutralized. And the fact that the blocking fullback gets second level and pocket shield, a lot of times you can take this fullback right here and you can motion him up to here. And now all of a sudden you've got a pocket shield next to your left tackle. For like, and then you turn this into single back ace, and your line is all of a sudden now really good pass blockers, so you can send your tight end out in formation. So now you have 4 guys going out, your fullback can still stay in, and you've got, options. Options are good. Wide receiver, you're gonna see me give you I really like route artists. I've fallen more and more in love with route artists over the last couple of dynasties. Route artists are essentially that guy that's gonna go out there. He's going to make a cut at the 10-yard line. He's going to go up, go 10 yards, and he's going to catch the ball. Every time. Every time. Route artists have the most important ability in the game for receivers. It's no longer takeoff. The most important ability for receivers in this game right now is sure hands. It means if the ball hits their hands, it's glue, it stays there. I want consistency in this offense. Route artists is it for me. They also get cutter, which means they have better cuts against man coverage. Double dip, they have better double moves. There are a lot of double moves in this playbook. And then layout, which means if you throw the ball a little bit away from them, you can they're gonna dive and be able to catch that ball. They also get recoup, which is really important stamina wise, because if you go to them over and over and over again, it's important to have good fatigue, good stamina. Even though, like I said, I think wear and tear is still more important overall. But there is not the workhorse is the gritty possession receiver, and I'm not big on the gritty possession receiver, honestly. That's the only receiver that gets workhorse, except the one I'm going to tell you now, and that's contested specialist. So I like to run a contested specialist on the opposite side of the route artist. I would rather have 2 route artists, but contested specialists, that way when they go downfield, you can throw one-on-one balls. You're gonna see people start to rotate to your route artist to make sure they're covered, or like to your tight end. You want to make sure that those one-on-one balls are caught, and that's where contested specialist comes in. Again, my favorite is running 2 route artists, making them choose their poison. But having a contested specialist, I think everyone knows how good aggressive catches are in this game, especially when the contested specialist gets a 50-50 ability. That 50-50 ability in 1v1 balls is essentially as good as Double Me was in Madden. And you Madden players know the lore of Double Me as an X factor. The last wide receiver I will tell you that you can go to if you don't like contested specialists is the good old speedster. Now, this is if you're not worried about throwing up one-on-one balls and you're more worried about taking the top off the defense so the route artist can work underneath. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. This is your choice. But if you do this, what I would say is anytime you go 3 wide, which isn't that often, but when you go 3 wide, your route artist should be in the slot. I don't think your speedster should be in the slot. I think your route artist should be, because he's going to be the one that technically has the best catch in traffic. Normally, he's the one that's going to have the best route running. He's the one that you want going up against that nickel corner or safety. So that's what I would say for that. Tight end. And you guys in the comments have gotten me to fall in love with this archetype. This was not my archetype at the start of the year. I was a huge gritty possession guy in the beginning of the year because I loved having battering ram and short hands. But you guys have sold me on possession. The comment section has sold me on possession receivers or possession tight ends. They get short hands, which I think is incredibly important. Plus, they get strong grip. If you are watching this video on October 2nd or after, There is a title update that you can look for the Campus Huddle notes on. Search College Football 26 Campus Huddle notes. That they have updated pass rush. Strong grip is going to be incredibly important. Let me say it again. Strong grip will be incredibly important. You're going to read the pass rush notes say something about lateral sheds. Strong grip prevents lateral sheds. Pass rush will be better in this update on October 2nd. If you're watching this after October 2nd, trust me. All right? So strong grip, you get sure hands, you get wear down, which is always going to take fatigue off. Plus you get balanced. Balanced prevents getting hit with a hit stick or protects you against hit sticks and strips. Allows you to break tackles off of them. And with tight ends, they run a ton over the middle in this offense. There's a lot of the 5 to 15 yard routes where the linebackers and safeties are. It's a great way to protect them. If you wanted to go with another archetype, I would say the physical route runner works much better with this as well. Plus, you get cutter, 50-50, balanced, downhill, and sure hands. What you don't get is any blocking. Now, this is normally a 2 tight end offense, so if you wanted to go with this, that's fine. But know that you're not going to get any blocking out of physical route runners. So be ready for that as you go. Have a blocking tight end that you can bring in. Even if you want to start with a blocking tight end and then sub the route runner in, just know, or you want to go with like the possession tight end on one side, and maybe you want to go to the possession tight end like here, and the route running tight end here. I don't like vertical threat for what it's worth. I was a little higher on it beginning of the year. I don't like vertical threats because takeoff doesn't seem to fire off of inline tight ends, and you don't split the tight end that wide in this one. Offensive line. Okay, so offensive line is the most important. Let's be honest, they're the most important positions in all the offense. I'm going to give you 2 setups. The first setup is if you check your blocking and you check your line assignments every play, you set double teams at the line of scrimmage, you are very in with who to block. And that's this setup. Pass protector on the outside, agile offensive guards, and center is a raw strength. But Mills, guards go up against defensive tackles all the time. Strong defensive tackles tend to blow agile off the line. Yes, but if you set your double team on pass rushes on a normal basis, you can take out their pass rusher. And the value of an agile guard in this offense, being able to get to the second level for blocks, being able to shed off double team run blocks, being able to get outside on tosses and power runs is so much higher than having what I'm going to tell you as the other setup. Plus, because you have the raw strength center, that raw strength center will be able to double team side to side, and he will also be able to take a nose tackle in the A gap. Your biggest concern with agile guards is the nose tackle in the A gap, and the raw strength center takes care of that on both sides and allows the offside guard that's going to be agile is going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem for defenses because if they don't get him manned up with the other defensive tackle, or if they let him go second level, all hell's gonna break loose with blocking, in the good way. Plus, I really like the fact that they have quick drop and they have screen enforcer. There is a lot of screening in this offense as well. The other setup, if you wanted to go with it, would be well-rounded across the entire board. And I'm saying this nicely. A lot of people fell in love with well-rounded linemen early in the season. Well-rounded linemen are the jack of all trades, master of none. They will give you a strong 80 to 85 blocking across the board. And that's great. That's fantastic. Like that'll take most offenses. But if you're looking to take your offense into a national championship caliber, if you want to be a top 15 team, Well-rounded offensive linemen are not the way to go. They're a great way to start rebuilding. I will say that, because again, they're gonna give you, okay, well, I've covered all my bases. But then when you go against, the big time, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the teams that have that pass rush up front, or the team that have that really the beefy run stoppers, well-rounded are going to get beat more often than not at whatever the specialties are. The worst thing is, well-rounded, if the other team is a lower level team and they've got like a great speed rushing defensive tackle, or a great speed, like a great rushing defensive end, or edge now, sorry. Well-rounded can get beat by that, because technically what you'll see is like a 90 plus finesse move. And well-rounded don't normally do well with that. Or a 90 plus power move, or a 90 plus block shed. Everything else is in the 70s, but you'll see these like one-trick ponies, and a one-trick pony beats a well-rounded in that specific situation. Especially if you're playing a user dynasty, yeah, they're gonna find ways to try to attack you that way. I think that this setup is better, because you're taking pretty much everything else. Because you've already got a tight end, right? You've already got a tight end with pocket shield, or with pocket shield and outside shield, right? Because we've got on a possession, he's already got outside shield. You've got a fullback that can get pocket shield if you need an extra blocker. Like, you have ways to attack every type of defense with this offense. And that's the most important thing here. Well-rounded will get you to the next level. This pass blocking setup, or this offensive line setup, will get you to the elite level. Don't settle for basic. Take the extra step. Learn your stuff. All right, let's talk about this offense real quick. Bring the notepad down here for a second. Again, we're in Michigan State. What I will tell you is you're going to run the ball to set up play action. What I will also tell you is, I know some people like to run concept. I think running the ball conceptually at a concept is perfectly fine. I think passing the ball conceptually is perfectly fine. I don't think you should play action pass at a concept. You want to know why? This is boot and slide. That's 29 different play action plays, right? And every one of them says slide on it, right? That's a screen wheel, but you get what I'm saying, right? And every one of these says boot, right? Pretty much everyone says boot, right? Well, watch this. Play action double post. Wasn't in any of those. And you've got 3 different play action, one of the better play action plays in this game. You don't have any of that. You play action cross, play action deep out. I don't think you should be calling play action from concept. I think you should be calling play action from formation. Here's the other reason. I've done some testing, and early results are that if you find a run that matches you remember in my NCAA 14 players, don't show your age, it's okay. Will remember that plays used to have a little link on them, right? That would say, hey, this play sets up this play. That mechanic is still in this game. That mechanic, while it's not as powerful as it was, it's not like, hey, this play is, it used to like light the play up and say this play is set up, right? And while it's not that powerful, the same looks set up the same play actions. So if you run I-Form Pro Power O and you're successful, and then you move on later in the game to I-Form Pro PA Power O, this is the play action from this. And it works. Believe me, it works. Don't forget your scenarios, your 1st and 10 or less than 3. Don't forget those. But that works. And they do a good job. Look at this stretch play. Now, the stretch is going the opposite way, but it's still a stretch. Right? Or you can even say, this run almost links to this one. Keep going. Like, they do a very good job of, hey, look at this I-Form Pro HB ISO. Look at this PA scissors. Wait, this looks very similar. Look into the same gap. You're looking for runs and play actions that are similar looks, okay? You want to continue. Look at this again. While we have this here, we have this guy going up in the same gap here and then getting a screen out of it. We have a duo run with and that's the same thing here. Look, the sprint flat going the same way. A lot of times in the playbooks, they are set up next to each other. So again, you've got inside zone here, even a counter weak to kind of look like this because the fullback goes this way. So you got a fullback going this way, this guy going this way on a play action, and all of a sudden now you've got comebacks. When you run these type of, look at same idea, end around, play action. These plays are very often near each other in the playbooks. Okay, I'm gonna say the same thing here. Look, you've got sprint flat and a throwback off of alert 26 duo. I can keep doing this. Look, jet sweep. You've got 3 different plays that all look the same. The CPU falls for looks the same way the CPU quarterback falls for disguise. This is your disguising shell. People don't look at this the same way. This is your shells on offense. You can't set shells on offense, so you pick similar looks. It is incredibly important. I'm not going to give you any money plays in here because I'm pretty sure all the plays are very, very good. Your job is to find plays that look similar, call them, and fool them that way. So same idea. You've got your I-form pro, your I-form slot, your I-form wing. Your strong, which is 18 plays deep. I'm going to say it again. We've got an HB dive. You got a power O alert smoke. And then this looks like this. You can even tell by some of the play calls. Motion inside. We've got 3 different motions, all to the same thing. It's the fullback moves over to this side, and all of a sudden you've got a play action slide this way. You got an inside zone split that looks like this. These are linked. And then again, but you still have a look. Right? There are so many different looks in this game that are very similar, and they've done it purposely. The playbook people that made this did this purposely. Inside zone split, the fullback goes out. At the same time, you get a slide here that has the same look to it. That is the goal of this offense. Go through every playbook and go, hey, this looks like this. This looks like this. Run this, get positive yards, move on to the play action. And I think this is the biggest thing I can teach with this offense is make sure you have your big thing is make sure you have your wide receivers in the right place, right? So this is wing type, but like if you're an ace close, so you have your wide receiver out here, you would want to make sure that your wide receiver is in a place where he can get soloed out. This is your route artist, right? That's your route artist. You want your speed on the drag, so there's your speed. Same thing here, like your route artist is making this cross while your speed's on the drag. If you're running route artist speedster, same idea. Again, this is a lot of 2 tight end offense. It's a lot of 2 tight end offense. But the idea of the pro style is everything looks the same. You come out in I form, you can do 18 different things. You come out in single back ace close, you can do 18 different things, okay? You come out in single back bunch ace. All of a sudden now, not only can you do 24 different things, but now they can't even man you up because you're in bunch. If they man you up and all of a sudden you're throwing like corner routes and stuff, and they try to man you up, they're gonna bump each other and you're gonna have a guy wide open. Especially like this drive play right here. Can you imagine trying to man this up? Especially if you got a tight end with good catching? That's the goal of the pro style offense. The pro style is run the ball successfully to get to your play action game, throw the ball down with play action, get up by a couple scores, go back to your run game, and cycle your running backs out. I think one of the other things, when you go into coaching adjustments, this is a little extra tip for you guys. There is a bug currently in Dynasty where your halfback will be put on grind it out, and everybody else will be balanced, right? That's a bug. Make sure your halfbacks aren't on grind it out. Matter of fact, even put them on keep it fresh. You can do this in game now. I think a lot of people miss this because of the coach substitutions. I would absolutely do this in game now. If you want one other little tip that they've added recently is go into your blocking for auto base protection. You can switch this. I would switch this to base. A lot of people have it on empty. I think base is better. I think base in general is a better blocking system. The difference is, I've talked about this before, but the empty is the dotted lines on your offensive line. What that is like that's supposed to pick up the first 5 guys that come into the tackle box on blitzes. Base actually has a built-in, I'm targeting this guy, and that's going to help you a lot when you start double teaming. The line of scrimmage. If you're still here, appreciate you. Thank you for watching the video. We'll have another video out next week for you. We'll be getting into the spread and the spread option. I wanted to save those for 2 videos next to each other. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the lives. We're live every night at 6 p.m. again. We'll be live tonight as well. Till next time, look good, be good, do good things, and I will see all of you glorious creatures a little bit later.